Are you in a rut and lost your mojo? Well, if you're looking for the answers, you need to ask the right questions. Enter Dr. Belisa Vranic, clinical psychologist and author of Get a Grip, your 2-week mental makeover, described as a therapist in a book. Welcome, Dr. Vranic. Great to see you again.
Great to see you.
Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
Tell us what was the inspiration behind this book.
This book came about because I wanted to put together all my experience as a therapist in a book to be able to give someone of, here's all the homework, here's everything I tell my patients to do between sessions, here's what would happen if you came to see me in therapy. But also it came about, it's kind of a funny story, because Eat, Pray, Love, that wonderful book, brought a lot of people to me saying, I want to have the experience this woman had, but I can't really leave my job and my family and go run over to Italy. So how do I do this without leaving my job and my home?
I said, well, I'll write a book and I'll show you
Yeah,
how.
I'll show you how to do it.
Fantastic. So this is an actual therapy, you get a full therapy session, or at least a program through your book, right?
You get 2 weeks of therapy, and it really is like going the first day through 2 weeks of intensive therapy every single day. And you get out of it what you put into it. Right. So I ask people to, for 45 minutes, which is a therapeutic hour, to take that time and do the work in the book, and you'll come away 2 weeks later with a lot of information about yourself.
It sounds fantastic. Now, one of the first steps you say everyone has to go through when they're doing whether they're doing it through your book or with a therapist, is to take the plunge.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
That can be so tough. I mean, starting therapy sounds easy. You make an appointment, that sounds easy, until you actually have to get to that part, and all of a sudden you get very fearful and there's anxiety that comes up. What happens if this therapist doesn't like me? What happens if there is no solution to my problem? So getting through the fear and actually making the appointment and committing to therapy is something that is tougher to do than you'd think. You think about Tony Soprano, and he has that panic attack where he has to go to therapy because he thinks he's dying. Or
you want people to not have to have the panic attack before they get into therapy, right?
You don't have to have the panic attack. You don't have to have that spouse saying, if you don't go to therapy, it's over.
Right.
You can really start doing some work in a way that's a little bit gentler and more private, really.
And you have specific steps through your book, and let's talk about some of them. The first one you say is to keep a journal, and in that journal you can vent. That's where you let it all out, right?
Yes, and in therapy, when you go, at least in the beginning or the first couple sessions, you really sort of chronicle your day, and you learn to relax by venting, and you really get this physical sensation of, oh, I've said everything that happened in my day, I've complained about everything, and now I can actually relax and start getting to the deeper, the grittier stuff.
Right.
So that definitely is the first step, is the journaling and the venting.
And then, of course, you have to problem solve. Very important.
Yes. And this is more than just problem solve at work, even though it has a similar connotation to it. You have to look at your problems as something that they do have a definite end. They do have a solution that you can figure out if you look at it as something outside of yourself and pick it apart in a way that's very pragmatic.
Right, right. That sounds fantastic. Now, you also, to get there, though, you have to ask yourself some very detailed personal questions.
Yes, you do.
Right?
And the book does that. There is a section for each of the chapters where you answer questions. And sometimes they're fun. Sometimes they're a little painful because you do have to dig deep. And sometimes they really just get you to ask questions that you would have liked to have answered with a therapist, that you'd like to talk about, and that really sort of give you some reflection about your own life.
And then to actually come up with some solutions that you can apply to your life. There's visualization involved, right?
Yes. And the visualization isn't just that, well, visualize the bicycle you want, visualize that car, the diamond necklace. That doesn't really work.
Right.
You spend a lot of time sort of daydreaming if you do that sort of thing. The visualization is a very practical way to visualize is, let me see myself in this position, and where do I see the hesitations? So where am I stopping myself? Where am I sabotaging? What are the things that come easy that I should be able to learn and apply in different situations? So you use the visualization to learn more about your coping mechanisms and how to do things more easily.
So it gives you tools to dealing with the inevitable ups and downs.
Exactly. When you're in therapy, you always leave therapy saying, you know, maybe this was a wonderful session, this is a great therapist, but I knew that. That was an answer I had deep down inside of me. So there's some of therapy that you should be able to do outside of therapy if you have the right questions.
Right.
And that's what this does.
And you also say, which I find this fascinating, and it just rings so true, there is no closure only process.
There's only process. And if we stop thinking that, oh, well, I'm going to have closure about this death, I'm going to have closure about this relationship. No, it doesn't get closed behind a door, put into a box, and put away somewhere. It really is a process. And living, being happier, going from stage to, one stage to another is a process. So if you can sort of be gentler with yourself, the way I am with my patients about go through your life knowing that this is a stage and it's only going to lead to another stage where you'll have different problems and different solutions. So be kind with yourself in that way.
Allow yourself to grieve, to be sad, and to move through that.
And move through that. And the next stage may not be having complete closure. It just may be having a little less sadness.
Right. And finally, who is this book aimed toward? Who is your audience?
My audience it's a combination of people. It could be someone who is saying, I'm in therapy now, but I want things to do between sessions.
Right.
I want this to go faster. I really want to be empowered by getting things done. Or it could be that person that's saying, you know what, my insurance is not so good. They don't cover therapy, or they don't cover good therapy. Right now, finances, it's not working for me. I can't go to therapy. Or it might be, I'm just too scared of therapy. I don't know if I believe in therapy. This is something you can do on your own.
Sounds like a great book at the right time. A lot of people can be helped by it. Dr. Vranic, thank you so much. Get a Grip is out now. And as always, we have more to share with you by visiting the health page at abcnews.com.